Today I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to put a sublimated image on a black sweater. Now, a friend of mine asked if I could make her two holiday Valentine's Day sweaters that feature Ghostface and Michael Myers. And in order to do the one, she wants it on a black sweater, so I like to use sublimated images, and you can't sublimate on black. It is not going to work. So I'm going to show you a runaround that I do, which uses glitter HTV in order to have the image on a black sweater. So I have my Cricut Design Space opened up, and I am going to bring in my images for this project. We're going to first bring in our Michael image. He's so cute. He's adorable. And for this image, we are going to do a 9.5. And we're going to undo that because our thing wasn't clicked. Again. Add to canvas. Make sure that thing's clicked. Click. And 9.5. Which shrinks that down. And with doing the 9.5, yes, the image is still bigger than what Cricut Design Space will allow us to cut out, but we're gonna do it anyway, and I'm gonna show you a workaround. So as doing this, for the HTV, we need to make sure that the HTV is slightly bigger than our sublimated image. And in order to do that, we are going to do what is called an offset. This is going to pop up, and it is going to show us what the offset would look at if it is set at a 0.25 inch offset. Now that's a little too big for what I'm looking for. It's honestly a matter of preference. There's no right or wrong answer. I am going to drop this down to an 18. I think that will look the best, and we're going to hit apply. We're gonna wait for it to load. It may take a little bit, and we may have to hit it twice. And that is what it's going to look like. But now for the offset, I don't want it to be black. I'm going to have it as a white offset since we're sublimating on white glitter HTV. And that sets our offset. So we now have two separate things here. We have this guy and we have this guy. So now we're going to take this guy, lovely Michael, and we're going to cut him in two so that then we will be able to print it out using Design Space. We're going to take a square. I like to use the square with the flat edges and the flat corners. Just for me, it's easier to work with. And I'm just going to stretch this out till I feel it's covering a good portion of my image. And I'm going to select the square and Michael, and I'm going to slice, which is essentially just cutting the image. So now we have all these different cuts. We do not need this cut, which is this background of the square, and we do not need that image. And there we go. So there is Michael. He is just gonna move out of our way because now we have it in two separate cuts, which we are going to butt up when we go to print it out. That's off. It's not gonna matter. I'll fix it when it prints, but there we go. He's gonna go like that. The other thing that we are doing on this sweater is we're gonna do hearts going down the right arm and the knife, Michael's knife at the bottom of the cuff. So I purchased this image off of Etsy, which has all the different killers knives, since I'm doing both a Michael one and a Ghostface. But for right now, we're just gonna need the Michael one. So we're gonna add this to canvas. And that's a huge image. We do not need that big. Again, make sure your lock is locked for the size, and let's drop this down to like a 5 inch just for now. We'll make it smaller in a minute, but we are going to take all of these other things out by using the contour feature, which is down here in the corner. And we are just going to select all of the layers that we are not using. And this can be pretty time consuming depending on what kind of design you're doing. And you're just gonna go through and select everything you are not using, which is going to remove it from the project. Same thing on here. Bye-bye, 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 bye-bye. I have a hard time telling what I selected, so this might take me a couple of tries with going back into it, because I don't know how it shows it. It confuses me. So we're just gonna keep clicking out as much as we can. I think I got all that. We'll find out. Clicking all these out. Keep clicking. All right, we're down to the final one. Bye bye, Freddy. You are my favy, but not for this project. You're not. Okay, now that should be everything. Yes, woohoo, I got it on my first try. All right, so now we just have Michael's knife. And now his knife, I want it to be 2.5 to like 3 inches tall. So let's actually do this at a 2.75 inch, but I don't want it that tiny. So that switches it over there. I'm gonna unlock because I don't like how thin that knife is. So let's do that like a 1-inch knife. Ooh, that's a chunky boy. We don't want him that chunky. Let's do 0.75. He's still chunky. Drop him down. 0.5, yeah. 1/2 inch wide. Yeah, that'll look good. I was just looking at my wrist and then measuring how big the 1/2 inch was gonna look. 1/2 inch is gonna be fine. And there is the knife. We're also gonna do that in the white glitter HTV. I think that'll look pretty. And then we're gonna have hearts going down the arm too. So we're just gonna go into the shapes and select the heart. Ooh, I actually just found a better heart. So we're gonna delete that one because I didn't notice those down at the bottom that are free with the subscription. Click. And I'm gonna change that to pink. Gonna do that as a pink HTV. And I want this to be a 2.5 inch wide heart, which I think will look good. And we're gonna do 5 of those. So we're just gonna add in 4 more. And there are the hearts. So that is set there. There's no like specific reason on where I'm putting these, just moving them so we can see everything that we have. Because that's it for Design Space. That's all that I have to do here before printing the design out and putting it on the sweater. That is going to be the most time consuming part. So we went through and we'll double check. We have our offset. Don't know why it's saying that. We'll find out in a second. We have our 2 sub images, which is the whole image just broken 2. We have the knife and we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hearts. So now we are set to make it. My thing is supported. What do you mean? That's why. Ha ha ha. Oh, that's why, because it's set as a print then cut. Ha ha ha. We are just going to cut that. Now it's fixed. So there we go. Now we're good to go. And we are going to make it. And so it's going to show that it's going to break our image into 2 separate prints. And in order to print this, we are going to have to do some adjustments to the image. First, we got to make sure we mirror. The amount of times that I have forgotten to mirror is insane. So we make sure we mirror the image. Then we're going to make sure we mirror. Actually, we just have to make sure we mirror everything. Everything is mirrored. And for this one, I'm going to change this to a 12 by 12. just so we're not wasting as much. And I'm gonna move this guy again over here so we aren't wasting as much material. And same with these guys. I'm gonna switch this to a, where is my 12 by 12? 12 by 12, whee! And I don't know why I moved everything. 2, there should be one more. Where'd it go? There it is. And we have those. Those we don't need to mirror because they're symmetrical. They're gonna look the same regardless. All right, so now we're gonna put the glitter vinyl onto the mats. Peel this off. Start with pink. All right, so pink, you have the glitter vinyl where it's shiny on this side and it's kind of like a matte on this side. This is the side that the machine needs to cut. So you need to lay this shiny portion face down on the mat like this. So we're just gonna line this up. Push it down, and then I like to use the brayer to just push it down a little bit more. And now I don't like how this likes to sometimes pull away, so I like to use painter's tape and just do a bit on the tops and the bottom, which this can mess up your cut if you put it too far in. So I just do very simple. Just do a very small bit. This is just to hold it down to give it a little bit more security so it doesn't just pull off of the machine. Like that. And I'm probably gonna do a little bit up on the top too. Once I rip, get that from going over. Same thing, I'm just gonna do a little bit on the top, keeping it out of my design the best that I can. Like that. And I'll do a little bit over there. Again, this is just for security issues. If I were to use like a purple mat, I wouldn't need to do this. I just don't have one. So there's the pink. Now we're gonna do the same thing for the white. So we're gonna take this, peel off that. And again, we got the shiny side and the matte side. We want the matte side up, shiny side down. So just center that, roll that down, brayer. So that is nice and on there. And I'm just, again, gonna do a tiny bit of tape, not a lot, just enough to provide some extra security so it's not gonna pop off while it's cutting in the machine. And I wouldn't have to do that if I had a different, if I was using a different mat, or if my mat was just stickier. Just a little bit. And now that both of these are prepped, we're gonna go head over to the machine and finish the last little bit of cutting that we have to do and print out the designs with the sub. Now that our material is set and on our mats, we're good to print out our images now. By clicking continue, that's going to pop up the menu where you are finally able to print your images. For here, we are just going to select print, and we're going to do a couple adjustments on this menu. The main one is turn off bleed. That's going to prevent it from having a hazy effect around the corners of your image, and we're going to switch this to the correct printer. Then we select print, and it sends it to the printer. Here it is asking what material, but we're not going to be doing that. We're going to cut it out ourselves. So we're just going to move on to the next one, repeating the process. I did forget to turn off bleed here, but I did go back and fix that off the camera. And same thing, we're going to skip that and move on to the next mat, which we are going to do a glitter iron-on material. And I like to set my pressure to more because my machine just likes to work better when it has more pressure. I'm going to remember the material setting since that is what we're going to be using for both this and the pink. And now we get to load in the machine and let it cut. We have our white and we're going to load that into the machine. Wait for it to blink and let it cut. Now that that one's done, we're gonna pull this out and we're gonna load in the pink one. And now we're all set. So we are done. So now that everything is cut out on the Cricut, we get to weed and we get to trim down our sub image and get that prepped to go on the sweaters. So time to fast weed. And there are the hearts and those. All right, so now that we have the vinyl weeded out, we're gonna work on these sublimation images, putting these two together. Now, when you print off Cricut Design Space, you get this black border. We don't want that because that will press onto our image, our clothing, and that's not what we wanna see. So we're gonna cut that out and we're gonna cut very close to where the line cuts out. So now that we have these two parts cut out, we're gonna have to line them up and create as minimal gap as we can, or in this case, I do have an overlap. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna find the heart. That looks good. Like that. So yeah, there we go. That is all set. And now we get to move over to the heat press and I'll show you guys how we're gonna heat everything on and get it set for the sweater. Now we're over at the heat press and I have my heat press to 305 we're gonna go 15 seconds. And first thing we're gonna do is get the wrinkles out and lint roll the sweater to make sure that we don't have anything that could mess with our application. So we go like this. We're gonna get the heat out of it. All right. So that was just to get the heat, the moisture out of the sweater and get it prepped for pressing our designs down. I'm gonna find the center just by taking this and folding it in half. And I might just do a quick crease on that just to make it easier to find. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a quick crease so the center is easy to find. Smoosh. Alright. So there's my quick crease. Center that. And now I like to just do a hand measurement down from the base of the collar, just because that's what works best for me. You can always do whatever you feel is better for your way of measuring. I like that. Down goes the lint roller. And then I'm just gonna line the center of the heart up with my center crease. Like that. Now this is a little out. Yeah, I like how that looks. And then that's gonna get pressed on like this. So we're gonna push the sweater back in. Make sure it's nice and tight so we're applying a lot of pressure. Smoosh. And now we're gonna let this press for 15 seconds. Okay. And now I like to pull the transfer tape off of glitter vinyl after it cools down. So while this is cooling, we're gonna work on the right sleeve, getting that prepped. For this, I'm just gonna stretch the sweater out, trying my hardest not to hit the heat press with my elbow. I would be lying if I said I didn't do that a lot. And now same thing, we're gonna lint roll and get the moisture out. Smoosh. Smoosh. So that got all of the moisture out of the shirt, and we can go ahead and move on to putting the hearts and the cute little knife on. So let's start up at the top with the heart. And now with this, I'm just gonna follow the center line and start with going a hand down, fold like that. And this I'm kind of just gonna eyeball. I know that I should probably measure, but I don't know, eyeballing I just think has a better result because I can see how it's gonna look before I press it and not just measure and press and yeah, let's send it. Smoosh. And while that smooshes, this should be good to peel off. It is. Same thing, we're only gonna go for like 15 seconds. Okay. Now we're gonna let that cool. And I'm gonna get his little knife situated. His cute little knife. We'll have it cut that way. There we go. Okay. And there is that. So these, oh, those peel up just fine when you peel them hot. Hee hee hee. Let's try the blade. Yay! Okay. So where we're at right now is we just got the offset on, and we just did the hearts and the knife going down the arm of the shirt. So now we're going to increase our temperature to 350 in order for us to do the HTV. And we're going to do that for about, not the HTV, sublimation. While this is heating up, we're going to get the sub design centered on the offset, also adhering it with the heat transfer tape. So we're going to get that going. Pew. Pew. Get prepped, tape on finger. Probably not the best way to do it, but that's how I'm doing it. Okay. So let's go through, I think, let's get the words situated. And now this, I just bend the paper up so I can see where it looks like the design is gonna fall, and then just keep going through, lining everything up the best that I can. Again, knowing that I can only see certain parts of the design. See that? I think is a little... There we go, that looks better. Right. Let's see what's going on here. Right there. Perfect. Okay. Tape. Tapey tape. Once that is taped down pretty well, we're gonna take a piece of paper and we're gonna cover the entire design so that the ink doesn't transfer to the top of our press, which can then transfer to other projects. Like so. And it is almost up to temp. Okay, now our heat press is heated up to the 355, and we are going to press the sub image onto the HTV. Like so. This is gonna press for a full 45 seconds. So we're gonna speed through that and I'll show you when it comes back. All right, so now we're done. And we're gonna peek the image. We're gonna just peel the one side away so we can see if it subbed how we wanted it to. And then if not, we're gonna repress it. Actually, that looks good to go. So yeah, there we go. So let's take a cute little look. Here is the front. Real men chase you, very nice. And then down the arm we have the glitter hearts and the glitter knife. So there is that. Alright, here is the final design up close. This came out so nice, and I really hope that my friend loves this. This is a really fun and simple method for you to be able to sublimate on dark colors. And here is the other sweater that I made for her on a light pink without the HTV glitter offset. If you guys have any questions or would like to see any other tutorials like this, please let me know in the comments, and thank you guys so much. Have a good day!